What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of The Rome Show here on 12ozsports.com, YouTube, and X. I am your host, Andrew Romanella. It is The Rome Show on the road again. We are in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. We are coming to you live an hour later than we normally come to you due to the time change, but that doesn't mean that we don't still give you the great and awesome Rome show that we provide you every single week. So we're going to look to try and do that as we go here in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. We have a few things on the docket for you today. Number one being some awesome stories I heard out of the National Basketball Association that I thought really deserved to be talked about on the Rome show today, with so much negative everywhere in the world. I thought these two stories were really cool, so I wanted to share those with the people. There's obviously some negative stuff we got to talk about. I got a wild statistic for you in women's college basketball that I didn't even know was a thing, but it is. And I thought the people of the Rome show would appreciate it. And then we start our early look at the National Football League Divisional Round playoffs. We're going to start with the AFC today. We got two games in the AFC divisional rounds. The top four seeds still remain in the American Football Conference. So we're going to break down the American Football Conference games today, Wednesday, January 15th, 2025. Then Thursday, the 16th, we will break down the NFC divisional round games, which are very intriguing as well. And then on Friday, as we do every single week, we predict and pick what we think is going to happen over the weekend. So a really good Wednesday show for you today to hopefully kickstart the rest of your weekend of some really good sports coming our way. The social media is The Rome Show 1, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, whatever you call it. We're there, The Rome Show 1. That's The Rome Show, then the number 1, or 12OZ Sports. We broadcast live, YouTube, X, follow it, 12OZ Sports everywhere. And then if you have Roku TV, check out the 12OZ Sports app. You just got to download it and keep looking at the guide, because we'll be on the Roku guide shortly as well. We are going to hear from our sponsor real quick, 30 seconds, and come back. And I got some stories for you here on the Rome Show, 12OZ Sports.
US.com is the official place to place your bets and support 12-ounce sports. All you have to do is go to betus.com and type in the promo code 12OZ and you'll instantly get a deposit bonus. This is America's favorite sports book. And remember, always gamble responsibly.
All right, we are back here on the Rome Show on the road, got ourselves situated. We're ready to rock. So I'm going to play you a video here from J.J. Redick, head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. And I got to tell you, this is one of the cooler stories during a first 15 days of 2025 that has been really difficult for a lot of people, especially in the sports world. Everything that tragically happened in New Orleans surrounded around the bowl games. That was super difficult and just a terrible situation. And then you have what's going on in California with the fires. It's really difficult. We say this on this show all the time, to really concentrate on sports, talk about sports, play sports, do sports, when things that are real, real serious and scary are going on around you. And that is happening with a lot of the Los Angeles sports teams right now. We've seen a lot of games get moved, a lot of games change, and we'll use the NFL game on Monday night, for example. The Los Angeles Rams did a phenomenal job of honoring the first responders and the families and everybody in California affected by what is going on. And they did a great job of keeping it in perspective. Anytime a player or a coach talked, there was really great perspective on the situation. Hey, we understand that this is just a football game. This is not the most serious thing in life comparative to what is actually going on in our state. But hopefully for the next 3 or 4 hours, we can provide a welcome distraction for not just the people of California, but everywhere that are being affected by what is going on in our world. And hopefully that distraction can just allow a momentary stop on the negative and give a smile or a positive thought to somebody that's going through a really tough situation. And JJ Redick, the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, is one of the individuals who lives in the state of California that has lost everything in these fires. And he and his family are fortunate enough to have an awesome support system in the National Basketball Association. And 2 of those players showed that support yesterday for JJ Redick and his family, Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama. Here is JJ Redick talking post-game after the Lakers game about what Chris Paul and Wembanyama did for his kids. And in my opinion, probably one of the cooler stories you will hear.
And Chris is in that inner circle of brothers. He called me this afternoon and said, Vic and I are going to go, whether you win or we win, we're going to go over and give the boys jerseys. He's well aware that, they're huge NBA fans, all their basketball cards. I ran a podcast out of my home for 2 years, and all the players would come through and they get their either a jersey or a card signed, and they had a collection of jerseys and cards, and they lost all that. So it was nice of them to do it. They now each have 2 because Austin was nice enough to leave a couple for him in his locker after practice the other day. So I appreciate all the love, and not surprised Chris.
I got to be honest with the people, man. That is probably one of the cooler stories I have seen. And the basis of it is JJ Redick and his sons have lost everything in the fire. His sons had an unbelievable NBA card collection, jersey collection. Obviously, due to the fact that their father was an NBA player for a really long time. And that was everything to them. And they lost everything. And CP3 and Wemby, as JJ Redick alluded to in the interview prior to the game, reached out and said, we're doing this. Okay, we are doing this. And I got to be honest with everybody out there. All right, because I think a lot of athletes, a lot of people in sports, and some rightfully so, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and defend everybody, but there are a lot of athletes, especially at the college level. Maybe it's different now with certain people that might be making money, but for the longest time, it was very hard for people to look at somebody that commits this much time and effort and energy into a sport and understand why they're doing it. And whenever I see stories like this, or I see stories of athletes taking time to be with people that need that time more than the athlete probably needs to spend their money after a game or whatever the case is, when an athlete takes a second to talk to a fan, whether they're sick, they're not, they just love that athlete, a fan makes a sign, all of those things are my favorite because that's why sports is awesome. Besides the fact that sports will give kids and people a home, it will help them develop into who they are. They'll teach them the hard lessons of life while allowing them to do something that they freaking enjoy. So it's easier to learn the hard lessons. It's like, okay, I could deal with this. I'm playing baseball. Yeah, this stinks, but I love baseball. So let me get through this so I can go play baseball. Academics is the best example. Have to have a certain GPA to play college athletics. How could any person in academia look on an athlete who is committing more than the regular person to their day-to-day with the practices, with the games, with the team building, with the community service, with the study hall, with the double the amount that a regular person in college is doing. But yet you will still have professors look down on kids that are college athletes because it's just a sport or they're not going to be a professional. And it's like, hey, human, Do you realize that the reason why this kid has purpose in your class, purpose in getting a good GPA, purpose in graduating, is because for the last 15 to 20 years, they've identified themselves as a lacrosse player, as a basketball player, as a baseball player. That's their identity. And that has driven them to go be really good in school. And that is awesome. And to me, I only want to be around or follow athletes that are like that. And there are athletes that stink. I get it. There are people that stink in every profession. But I don't think we talk enough about the athletes that do the right thing with the spotlight that they do have, like Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama yesterday for the Los Angeles Lakers and JJ Redick's son. We need to pump up these stories. We need to pump up the stories of the athletes doing things right, staying after and signing autographs, being great role models. And for the athletes that aren't that, shame on you, bad on you. You literally become an athlete. Most of you had a mentor, believed in somebody, saw them like, I want to be exactly like them. So then when you get to that point of being that athlete who has that platform, who can change lives, who can be a great person, you got to do it. You have to do it. And so I saw this story yesterday from CP3 and Wemby, and I loved it. And then I found another story of Chris Paul, arguably the greatest shooter of all time, arguably a top 5 player of all time, arguably as important to the game of basketball as a Michael Jordan, right? Because the way his game has changed the game, and I mean his physical game of shooting long range, has changed the game of basketball. Steph Curry was playing a game, I believe it was in Indiana, okay? And Steph Curry was scheduled to not play in that game that day, all right? And he said, obviously, to someone in the Warriors organization during pregame or something, he must have noticed a certain amount of kids there that were clearly there to watch Steph Curry. I think they were in Indiana. Steph Curry not playing that night, goes to the security and tells security to grab that bunch of kids or whatever kids he tells them to get. And Steph Curry brings those kids back to behind the curtain of the basketball arena and takes some pictures with them, talks to them, introduces himself to them, signs some stuff because he felt bad that he was not going to be playing a game in front of the kids that came to watch him play a game. And to me, that is the ultimate right there. That, I think, is the reason why Steph Curry is my favorite athlete, could be of all time, because he has unbelievable perspective on what his role in the National Basketball Association means and what it means to the next generation. And that is being a high-level professional athlete. It's not just about getting yours while you're being a professional athlete in the NBA, MLB, NHL, NFL. No. It's about growing the game, okay? You, hopefully, once you get yours in those sports, are also getting a name for yourself outside of that team, right? So now, I'm not just Steph Curry, the player on the Golden State Warriors. I'm Steph Curry, possibly greatest three-point shooter of all time. Double-time gold medalist, multiple-time champion, right? That plays on the Golden State Warriors. When you enter that realm, you have a responsibility to the game, much like the players that came before you, to grow the game. And the only way you can grow the game is with positive. It's nearly impossible to be a negative athlete, a hated athlete, an athlete that's a quote-unquote a-hole, and have people follow you and want to continue to cheer for you. And the worst conversations ever when you talk to somebody, it's like, I finally met that athlete I love, and he's an a-hole. And you're like, what? Man, I've heard that, but I was hoping it wasn't true. That should never be the case. Because every single athlete out there was a JJ Redick's kid, was a kid coming to watch Steph Curry, was somebody that was obsessed with Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge. That's mentorship. That is being somebody that somebody looks up to. And so I really do. I hope that other athletes, and maybe they do, maybe they don't. Every athlete claims they don't read stories, they don't read the news, they're not on social media. yet they always have a response for something negative said to them. Nonetheless, I want to start seeing more of this. This is the world athletically that we need to live in, because if athletics has such a stranglehold on so many people in our world, and you hear these awesome stories like this, we need more of that. So let's keep leaning on athletics to help provide us that perspective. The Rome Show here on the road, Nashville, Tennessee. It is 7:18, whatever this is. I don't know. Is this Central Time? Whatever the hell the time is here. I know it's an hour lower than Eastern Standard Time, so it's 8:19 on the East Coast. So it said the Rome Show comes to you on the road no matter what. Even if we have to start an hour late, we still get here. If you miss any part of this show, you miss any of the Rome shows, you just want to share the Rome Show, youtube.com/12OZ Sports. The Rome Show is right there, super easy. All 12OZ Sports lineup is there. X, easy, it's 12OZ Sports or the Rome Show 1. And then when we are live at our normal 7 a.m. slot on the East Coast, okay, which I'm going to attempt for tomorrow, depends on how I have this hotel setup going on here. When we are on at 7 o'clock on our normal time, we are live on Roku TV. So many ways to get the Rome Show, and all of that can be thrown out the window. We get the Rome Show podcast as well. As long as you're listening, we are happy. We're going to take a quick time out here. We're going to come back with our AFC outlook for the NFL divisional rounds. Then we will take our picks for tonight, Wednesday, and then we're done here on the Rome Show on the road. 12OZ Sports back after this.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sports book, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
What's up, everybody? Andrew Romanella, The Rome Show, 12ozsports.com. We broadcast live, YouTube and X today, every day that we're locked on our time of 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also broadcast live on Roku. Thank you for joining us today on the program. Nashville, Tennessee is our location. Lot of flying here for the Rome Show. But nonetheless, we still bring the beautiful sports content to the people. Once I get home from this trip, though, on Friday, I will be planted, rightfully so, in the Rome Show studios for at least 2 months before we get back on the road for the people. But as long as you know that we're still going to bring you the quality content we can while on the road, then I am a very happy camper. Over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we are going to get some awesome football in the National Football League. We got 2 games on Saturday, and we have 2 games on Sunday. So the way the National Football League did it this year is they have an AFC game on Saturday and an NFC game on Saturday, and then an AFC and an NFC both apiece on Sunday. So both number 1 seeds remaining in the National Football League playoff will play on Saturday. So you will know the fate of the Chiefs and the Lions, who are both coming off the first round bye, before you put your head on the pillow Saturday night. So you don't even need to know, okay, if the Bills are going to have a chance to play the Chiefs again. You'll know it before you go to sleep. So it's going to be a fun one this weekend. Today, we're going to focus on the AFC. So the Chiefs versus the Texans and the Bills versus the Ravens. A little bit of information to give the people. First and foremost, KC and Texans play earliest on Saturday. In that game, Kansas City is favored by 8 points than the Bills and the Ravens. They'll play the later game on Saturday with the Ravens. Yeah, you heard that right. The Ravens favored by 1. Now, that's essentially a pick'em. And I believe the line on the Ravens-Bills game opened with the Bills being favored by a point. So, again, essentially a pick'em, meaning it's a money line choice. Who do you think's going to win? You could take them on the spread, or you could take them on the money line, and you would still get them essentially winning the game if they win by 1 point. Let's start with the Chiefs, and let's start with the Texans, because it's a tale of significantly 2 tapes here. All right. For the Texans, it's been an up and down year. All right. They trade for Stephon Diggs. They have Nico Collins. CJ Stroud's coming back for his second year alongside head coach DeMeco Ryans. Joe Mixon playing some really good football, running the rock. Stephon Diggs gets hurt in week 8. Nico Collins gets hurt for about 8 games. And the offense never recoups, never looks the same. And I felt like the entirety of the rest of the year from week 10 on was a real struggle for the Houston Texans, to the point where it was such a lack of struggle for the Los Angeles Chargers that is ultimately why I picked the Chargers last week over the Texans. Because I'm a firm believer in coming into these playoff situations and having some momentum and playing good football, good puck, good ball, whatever. And the Steelers didn't have that. We pick against them. The Texans didn't have that. I pick against them. And the Texans found a way. And usually good teams do. Okay? But the key, and I believe this is going to be the key for the Houston Texans for this football game on Saturday, turnovers. More specifically, CJ Stroud. Because this year, CJ Stroud turned the football over 13 times. Now, I'm including the singular playoff game and then the entirety of the regular season. 4 interceptions have happened in the last 3 games for the Houston Texans quarterback. And if you look at the flip side, besides the fact that we all already know that Patrick Mahomes is a really good quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, who had a start to the season where he turned the football over in 10 straight games. He had an interception in 10 straight games. Patrick Mahomes, in his last 6 games, has thrown 11 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. 0 interceptions in his last 6 games. So the biggest key for me in this contest is going to be the turnover battle. Now, the Houston Texans, they lead the defensive line battle on this, okay? So it is going to come down to, can Mahomes continue to take care of the football the way he's taking care of the football the last 6 weeks of the season? And for the Chiefs, this is the best their young defense, third youngest defense in the league, I believe, has been playing all season. Steve Spagnuolo's got the boys cooking the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season. So which quarterback is going to turn the football over? And if neither do, then I think it simply just comes down to whose offense can be more balanced. Because with Pacheco and Mixon, great head-to-head on the running back. From Stroud to Mahomes, great head-to-head. Kelsey and Collins, you probably have a little bit more weapons on the Chiefs side. But if you get a clean game from Stroud and a clean game from Mahomes, it's really just going to come down to, I believe, possession of the football. So we'll see. The Chiefs have not played a football game, their number ones at least, in 25 days. Okay? They played week 17. They locked it all up. They did not play week 18. where they got their second unit got slaughtered 34-0. So it's been 25 days for the number one unit of the Chiefs, but 13 days overall for the team. Will that affect them? I don't know. We'll break down more of this one on Friday when we give you our picks. The Bills, number 2, the Ravens, number 3. Week like 4 or 5 of the season, the Ravens slaughtered the Bills 35-10. Okay, I think it was actually Josh Allen's worst loss of his career. Okay, so a little bit, besides the fact that both quarterbacks have something to prove here. Okay, both quarterbacks MVP status quarterbacks. Both quarterbacks, a lot of people believe should be MVP this year with how good they're playing. Okay, Josh Allen's got the Bills at 13-4 to finish the regular season, and Lamar Jackson's got the Ravens at 12-5. Josh Allen and the Bills scored 31 unanswered last week against the Denver Broncos to slaughter them at home. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson literally ran roughshod over the Steelers for like 37 minutes before the Steelers knew it hit them and thought they could even put a point up on the board. So both teams are coming off of phenomenal wins in the wild card round. But both of these teams, if lose on Sunday, not good for quarterback resume. Not good. And so it makes it so intriguing because one of these quarterbacks is going to get labeled as somebody that through the first 7 or 8 years of their career can't, win the big game, can't get to the Super Bowl, can't get that elusive victory. And one of these guys is going to break through and get a chance at what we all believe is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs, maybe. I mean, and if it's the Texans, then they get a home playoff game, right? It's only a win for either of these guys, all right? And I think the key to this game is ball control, all right? And more specifically, the weapons on the side of the Buffalo Bills and the running game of the Buffalo Bills. Again, when you get this deep into the season, everything mirrors everyone, right? It's all similar. Okay, you're going to have a good quarterback. You're probably going to have a pretty good defense. You're probably going to have pretty good pass game, pretty good run game, right? It is all very similar. Well, in this scenario, though, it is not. James Cook comparative to Derrick Henry is not the same thing. Josh Allen, James Cook combo, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson combo are not the same, though treated the same. 2 quarterbacks that can run, 2 running backs that can run the rock athletically, pound town, whatever the case is, right? You have both of that. But for some reason with Baltimore, it is just so much more demoralizing. And maybe that's the way that Derrick Henry runs the rock. I don't know. But I think the key to this game is, can the Buffalo Bills running game, or more specifically, can the Buffalo Bills offense possess the football long enough to not allow Baltimore to take control of the rock and then control the game? Because I think if Baltimore does what they did last weekend, 35 runs to 25 passes, it's going to be Baltimore running through the Buffalo Bills. So both these teams score over 30 points a game. The Bills average 30.9 points per game, whereas the Ravens average 30.5. So outside of that ball control thing, which defense is going to show up and slow down the weapons on either side? Like I said, we'll come back tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully, Andrew can figure it out. Either way, if not, we'll come back to you at 8 again. Regardless, we'll come back to you tomorrow, and we will break down the NFC playoff games. And then on Friday, we will give you everything that you want in terms of picks for the weekend. Someone said picks? They did. Oh, okay. It's time for Daily Bananas. It has not been a good run, okay? Speaking of the roller coaster season of the Houston Texans, it's been a roller coaster 2025 in terms of picks for Andrew Romanella. So, I'm not even going to tell you where I was yesterday. I'm just going to tell you that we are 13-17 right now, and we are looking to trend in the right direction. In 2024, we finished 40 games over 500. So it's in here. It's en la cabeza. We just have to get to it. The Knicks, they play tonight against the 76ers. Now, the New York Knickerbockers are 1 game under 500 for their record when it comes to against the spread. Obviously, winning basketball games. They're 8 games over 500, but against the spread, they're 1 game under. However, they are playing the Philadelphia 76ers, who is a team historically that I do not believe in, okay? That is an inconsistent ball club in 2024, 2025 because of the injuries that they've had to deal with. So I will take the Knicks at the -5.5 tonight. The Toronto Raptors, record-wise, haven't even won 10 games yet. But against the spread, they're 5 games over 500, 22-17. They're playing a Boston Celtics team who has a few times fallen into trap games this year because, yeah, you know what? They won the chip last year. They're one of the top 3 teams in the league this year. And we know that the regular season in the NBA sometimes isn't matterful. So, I don't even know that's the word, but it felt right. So, I'm going to take the Raptors at the +12.5 because I'm going to go with their spread record. And then finally, the Dallas Mavericks, they play the Pelicans. The Mavericks are favored by 1.5. I know they're on the road, but the Pelicans are coming off of a back-to-back. Zion, first time playing a back-to-back this season. I'm going to go with Dallas -1.5. Those are my daily bananas. This has been the Rome Show on the road. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're back tomorrow with the NFC playoff breakdown and so much more. Just tune in. Share the show with a friend. We appreciate you. Andrew Romanella saying peace.